And without further ado, here's the Democrat Party's supposed presumptive nominee for president. Take a look.
Remember Venn diagrams, those three circles, right? And then let's just see where they overlap. You will not be surprised because I have constructed a Venn diagram on this. Remember those three circles, how they overlap? I love Venn diagrams, so I just do. Whenever you're dealing with conflict, pull out a Venn diagram, right? And so, you know, the three circles. The television coverage of just yesterday, that's on top of everything else that we know and don't know yet, based on what we've just been able to see. And because we've seen it or not doesn't mean it hasn't happened, but just limited to what we have seen. For us at every moment in time, and certainly this one, to see the moment in time in which we exist and are present. I can imagine what can be and be unburdened by what has been, you know?
6 former administration officials last week wrote that open letter urging the administration to change course, to change strategy. Is it time?
It is time for us to do what we have been doing, and that time is every day. Every day it is time for us to agree.
Joining us now to discuss is Republican strategist Bobby Eberle, the host of the 13-Minute News Hour. Bobby, thank you very much for being here tonight. I really appreciate it.
Hey, Riley, it's good to see you, and I'm glad to be on tonight.
So I just want to start because there's so much going on here, right? It's kind of been a whirlwind of a weekend. We all thought these talks were coming because there's been a lot of infighting. Then the weekend came. Biden cryptically said he would step out of the race if something came up medically. Just hours later, magically, something does come up medically, apparently COVID-19. And then a couple days go by, and then all of a sudden, poof, he's gone. We get a statement on social media, but we haven't seen from him. We haven't heard from him, really, aside from these statements. We have no idea what's going on inside the White House. We just know that Democrats are raising tons of money right now, and so are progressive PACs like Act Blue. So what do you think is really going on here? Is he being pushed out, or is there a real medical concern here, and that's why they may be doing this? What is it exactly that's going on?
Well, I think what we're seeing is a coup. I mean, of epic proportions. The scandal of the century is what is happening right now. And just as a side, your clip, your lead-in with the Venn diagrams, that just cracks me up, because if you take woke and ridiculous and inept in the center, you have Kamala Harris. She's her own Venn diagram, and we're going to get so many clips from her. But what happened this weekend is just amazing, because just as late as this Friday, the campaign was putting out statements saying, we're all in. We're going to campaign. Yes, we know he's got COVID. He's had it for a few days, but we're planning more campaign stops. We're all in. So the pressure that came down this weekend to subvert the will of 14 million Democrat primary voters. I mean, anyone who's out there in the grassroots and actually campaigning knows that the Democrats, when they go to the polls, they're not going to be talking about issues. They're going to be talking about abortion and protecting or saving democracy, and yet they're subverting it right before our eyes. The nominee, the one that the Democrat primary voters picked, is now being forced out, and a new nominee will be selected by Democrat elites at their convention. It is just mind-blowing, but that's what we're up against. I mean, Biden's out, and like you said, I mean, it's so weird. It's so cryptic. We haven't seen this guy. We haven't seen anything, and he makes a post on X, and of course, conspiracy theories are running wild with this signature, and I mean, rightfully so, because this is the strangest political season I've ever been through. And I know there's more to come, but now they're rallying around Kamala Harris. And to me, it's a flip of a coin. Biden, Harris, they've been linked together from the very beginning. So we're not going to get anything new from her as far as this campaign.
Absolutely not. And I'm glad you mentioned this point about being the defenders of democracy, right? Because not only are the Democrat elites in power who are really pulling the strings behind the scenes, not only are they targeting Trump and Trump supporters and conservatives and doing everything they can to neutralize the opposition, but now their own side, their own candidate, and in this way, this suddenly, regardless of what the people think, I really hope this is a massive wake-up call and a rude awakening for many people out there, Democrats, Republicans, independents, it doesn't matter. This is so completely un-American. And look, I'm no fan of Joe Biden. I'm happy to see him gone. I am. I'd also like to see him step down as president because, as far as I'm concerned, if you're not even fit to be running for president, then how can you be president currently? That seems like a massive flaw in logic. So I'd like to see Biden step down effective immediately. Having said that, I mean, it's just so sinister when you think about it, because these same people that are constantly going on about how Republicans or conservatives are the threats to democracy are the ones that are actually working behind the scenes to make sure that they can get us close to at least trying to control the outcome of what happens in November, and at least trying to subvert the will of the people. The will of the people, that's just an afterthought. That's what it seems like. The voters, who cares about the voters? For them, it seems like it's about protecting their power, and they realize Biden's not going to help with that. But here's where I'm confused as well, because I don't see how Kamala Harris is a better option, and I'm not sure what the game plan is for making her the actual nominee, because I can't imagine she gets anywhere close to victory in November. So what do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, they really put themselves in a corner. I mean, as soon as Biden became the presumptive nominee, he flat out said, you know, I'm looking for a woman. I'm looking for a woman, quote, of color. And now they're in this corner and they can't get out. They are stuck with Harris. And like I said, to me, you know, no one like a Newsom or a Whitmer are going to touch this race, because Trump was already dominating. We came out, he survived an assassination attempt. You know, I told my friends, it's like, I don't think this is a person anymore. It's like a myth, a legend, this guy, right? And so at the convention, it was just epic. And so they see a losing situation, and maybe they're trying to salvage down ballot races, but you don't gain with a true difference would be a Gavin Newsom or a Gretchen Whitmer or maybe another governor. But swapping out Harris and Biden, I mean, you get the same exact thing, the same policies, infinitely attackable on the issues, and I think they're just I can't, you know, we've gone through these red waves before, so I don't want to say too much. But as an analyst and a media strategist, we're in a golden position right now, and it looks like the Democrats might be just writing off the presidential race. Why sacrifice a Whitmer or a Newsom? Let them run in 28, and we'll go with Kamala. But even so, you've got this dynamic within the Democrats. I mean, you know, when it gets to their convention, are they going to be pro-Israel, pro-Palestine, right? Are they going to be pro-Harris, or are they going to be anti-Harris? Because Obama came out, he didn't endorse Harris yet. There's an inner working there that I think there's more to it right now. Besides, you know, there's a lot of people that have come out for Harris, but he's a key one, considering that he's probably the instigator of this Biden downfall, and his silence has been deafening.
Yes, it has been. And I don't know about you. I feel like there's some artificialness going on with this, you know, support for Kamala Harris. It just seems so staged and so disingenuous to me. I mean, for so long, Kamala was basically in the dark, right? I mean, they kept her away from big speaking events. She was the border czar, but not really, because she was never at the border. She was the AI czar, but she was never really talking much about AI. These were mostly ceremonial positions, right? And they figured with the VP, just don't do any harm. But now to give her the driver's seat, to say you want that to be the centerpiece of your next administration, I just don't understand it. I mean, from the polling data I've seen, she's even less popular than Joe Biden, even less equipped than Joe Biden, maybe just as corrupt as Joe Biden. I don't know, but the pick just doesn't make sense to me. So I'm thinking what's going to happen is that we're going to see some kind of, you know, someone swoop in, I should say, at the DNC late August. It's about a month away. I don't know if you're, you know, looking at that already and what you're thinking. I'd be curious to hear that, because I'm thinking they could bring in maybe someone like Michelle Obama. I don't see how you could take a candidate who's even less well put together, less qualified, less competent, and less articulate, and say, you know what, that's going to be our solution to all of the infighting and all of the remedies, and that's how they're going to beat Trump. They've made it clear. Their bottom line is do whatever it takes to beat Trump, even possibly an attempt on his life. So I don't know who else they could call on, but I feel like if they go with Kamala, it's going to be a lose-lose situation for them. And maybe that's okay, because maybe they're thinking about 2028. Is it possible, do you think, that they're just going to sort of give up on this election and make plans for the next one, or make plans to stymie Trump once he gets into office? Because this is just so disorganized and so hectic. I can't imagine what the average Democrat is thinking right now, but I do think it's probably bad, right? This looks so bad for them, the optics alone. And then, of course, the bigger stuff, the infighting. It seems like there was real infighting going on. There was a real debate about taking Joe Biden out of office. So I don't know what they're thinking, but it seems like it took a lot for them to just even agree upon that, which for me, it's such a no-brainer. Take him out of office. He's not fit for the job. But for the Democrat Party, it was a real discussion. It was a really intense debate, a firefight. So I don't know what they're thinking moving forward for the DNC, but it seems like that's where it's all going to come to a head, right?
Yeah. I mean, you've got the Democrats in disarray, and it's like you said, okay, so they see Biden losing. They see him just, there's no path to victory is what it really came down to. So the brain trust there says, okay, we're going to replace him with Kamala Harris. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. You gain nothing. And in fact, like you said, there was an email sent out from the Trump campaign that showed recent polling, poll after poll after poll, has Trump just demolishing Kamala Harris. I mean, she is less popular than Joe Biden. Now we're about to get a whole new spin, a whole new narrative, this rebirth of Kamala Harris coming out of the media like she's greatest thing. But what's been so funny today, and again, Riley, I was looking forward to this interview, but just looking at all the clips and memes that are out there, she campaigns against herself every time she speaks. You know, I mean, every time she opens her mouth, it is just something that you can use. I mean, she's anti-fracking. It's not going to help in the Rust Belt. She's Green New Deal. That's not going to help with manufacturing. She brings nothing to the table to win a constituency. So they're in the same place as far as the electoral map that they were on Saturday.
Yep. So whatever's happening here, I think this is I would guess it's a temporary measure, and I would also say the battle is not over for them. I mean, it's still an uphill battle. Clearly, this was inevitable. They weren't going to run Joe Biden, but they still don't have anybody else that seems like a viable alternate candidate who actually wants to run against Trump, who's also got the power to actually beat him, especially in key critical swing states and on those big issues like the border and the economy. Because of all the issues we've seen under the Biden-Harris regime that have been terrible, I think the border, the handling of the southern border, and what's going on with Bidenomics and the economy, those are the two big red flags on everybody's mind, and there is no way to spin it. So for me, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who you nominate. It's like you said, it's the other side of a coin, just whatever. Biden, Harris, to me, it doesn't make a difference really in outs at all. It's the same policies, the same rhetoric, the same progressive politics, and the same, attack really on the Constitution of the United States of America. And so I'm just happy to see Biden gone. Hopefully this, we can look forward to November. We've got less than 4 months to win this thing and to save this country. So all my effort and all my focus is on that. And as far as the Democrats, I wish them luck, I guess, but whatever they do, it's not really a concern to me. I just want to get Trump past the post in November. That's it.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. And they're scrambling right now. We need to capitalize on it. We came out of our convention energized, unified. I mean, I've never seen us go in the same direction so well. And now just to watch the Democrats all over the place, this convention is going to be very interesting come August in Chicago. And we'll see. But it goes back to your point, if I can real quick, is that the whole motivation, though, right, was to bring down Trump, get Trump. Trump's still out there. So we have no idea what they're gonna try next. They seem to have tried everything. So you know that these 4 months are going to be the roughest we've ever seen.
Absolutely. We need to be prepared for quite the fight. Like Trump said, fight, fight, fight. That's what we have to do. And I'm looking forward to doing that. And I really do think that you're right. We've got momentum here. We're building it up. The base is getting bigger. The base is getting more excited. And I really do think it's going to be a landslide. That's what I'm praying for.
Yep. Me too. That would be so welcome.
Well, Bobby, unfortunately, we're out of time, but I really appreciate it. Sounds like we're on the same page, and hopefully, just cheers to a Republican victory this November, and hopefully, fingers crossed for a red wave. So thank you for being here tonight. I really appreciate your time.
All right, friends, thanks again for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And before you go, please hit that subscribe button above. Once you do, tell your friends. Share it. Spread the word about the 13-minute news hour so we can keep growing. And for more great content, check out these videos right here, and I'll see you next time.